And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry.
Bill Maher on a mission to dismantle woke arguments like it's his full-time gig, and his latest target none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Let's be honest, the actress kind of brought on herself with her ever-expanding list of cringe-worthy remarks. Since 2022, Maher hasn't just criticized her, he's methodically tore her down piece by piece, delivering a takedown so fierce it had Whoopi scrambling for cover like a cartoon character avoiding falling anvils. So what exactly did Goldberg say this time to ignite Maher's unfiltered ire? And how did his sharp comeback leave the woke crowd in disarray? Don't worry, we got all the juicy details right here. Buckle up, folks. This isn't just a bumpy ride at a roller coaster without seatbelts.
We have got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg has stirred the pot, and now she's facing the harsh claws of reality. And it's anything but graceful. Remember our previous video where Bill Maher tore Sunny Hostin apart for trying to twist his words? Well, the View crew isn't taking that lost line down this time. Enter Whoopi Goldberg, apparently on a vendetta to settle the score. It seems Sunny couldn't handle the heat Maher brought, so she summoned reinforcements, Whoopi Goldberg herself. And let me tell you, she arrived with full force, ready to clash like a competitor on a reality show nobody signed up for.
And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Class classic Whoopi Goldberg flipping to the woke playbook as if it were a holy scripture. When your argument starts to nosedive like the Titanic, she conjures up a straw man and launches an all-out assault. Bill Maher was clearly highlighting that black Americans are striving for better jobs, a robust economy, and accountable policing. Straightforward, right? But then Whoopi steps in rambling about supporting a former prosecutor with initiatives for the working class. Does that make sense? Absolutely not. Do you grasp the logic? Naturally not. Because there simply isn't any. It's like she's throwing darts blindfolded, hoping something will hit the mark. Spoiler, it doesn't. And Bill Maher wasn't about to let that go unnoticed. Bill Maher didn't hold back this time.
Let's tear down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
He highlighted that Whoopi's ideas likely lack coherence, a trait all too familiar with The View. The show has transformed into political talk show equivalent of a train wreck. Excruciating to watch, yet strange, usually captivating. Yes, it's notorious for its divisive, and let's be honest, dubious opinions on just about everything. But Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg have taken the pandemonium to a whole new level with their downright outrageous remarks. Remember, when Charlemagne the God dared to appear as a guest, you could almost see him questioning if he'd walked into an alternate universe.
All of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now.
Here's the lowdown President Joe Biden, who proudly proclaims that no one is above the law, just pardoned his son Hunter Biden after he was unsurprisingly convicted of corruption and related charges. Family values at their finest. Right, this decision has unsurprisingly ignited a blaze of criticism. How can you uphold a mantra no one is above the law when your own son gets a clean slate? It's almost as if justice turns a blind eye when it comes to the Biden's Hunter's wrongdoing was as clear as a toddler with cookie crumbs on their face. Yet accountability seemed to take a backseat in the family agenda. That's exactly where Charlemagne stepped in. If the woke crowd insists that no one is exempt from the law, they better adhere to their own principles. Simple concept. Right, well, Whoopi had a different take.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
And there it is, another face-palm-worthy moment from the queen of cringe herself, Whoopi Goldberg. This round, Whoopi actually asserted that President Biden wasn't lying when he declared that no one is above the law. Seriously, Whoopi, because there's a towering pile of evidence, videos, audio, recordings, and probably even ancient cave drawings that clearly show he made that exact statement.
This nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
Watching Whoopi spin a blatant falsehood is like seeing someone adamantly claim the sky isn't blue while standing beneath a clear, cloudless expanse. At this stage, Whoopi's mental acrobatics could earn her a spot in the Olympics, though she'd likely stumble over her own reasoning. Even there, you could literally see the disbelief etched on Charlemagne's face in response to Whoopi's remarks. But she didn't stop there. Whoopi went on to suggest that it's possible President Biden changed his stance because he was fed up with everyone surpassing him. Charlemagne was left speechless, completely taken aback by her assertions.
So I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that
go
go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. They don't have to do that.
The issue with the so-called woke mob is that they only spotlight wrongdoing when the offender isn't part of their exclusive inner circle, but when the culprit belongs to their own ranks, the outrage quickly transforms into hushed offenses or a convenient case of selective amnesia. Naturally, Whoopi and her crew managed to dodge accountability thanks to Charlemagne's presence on the show. However, when Bill Maher caught wind of their antics, he was like, "Hold my beer," and delivered one of the most incisive verbal takedowns we've seen in a long time.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bull.
Maher couldn't have put it better himself. The so-called woke mob loves to flaunt themselves as the ultimate arbiters of truth and morality, but their double standards have been exposed for everyone to see. Take Hunter Biden, for example, guilty as charged, plain and simple, yet because his father holds the Oval Office, Hunter walks away without so much as a slap on the wrist. If it were anyone else, the mob would be demanding their head on a silver platter, but when it's one of their own, justice conveniently takes a backseat to favoritism. It's hypocrisy at its peak. And Ma was spot on in calling it out for the sham. It truly is a complete farce. The pressing question now is, how much longer will Americans tolerate this duplicitous behavior? This isn't just about Hunter, it's about a system that bends over backwards for the powerful, while relentlessly throwing the book at everyone else. Maher's takedown wasn't merely timely, it served as a wake-up call for anyone still clinging to the illusion of fairness. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Ma highlighted that the woke mob often receives backing from mainstream media.
Was it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't
but
follow
I mean,
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
The media went out of their way to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, pulling out all the stops to protect President Biden and sabotage Trump's re-election efforts. Major outlets brushed off the story as Russian disinformation, despite a growing mountain of evidence, all while silencing dissenting voices. Whoopi Goldberg eagerly jumped on the bandwagon, dismissing the legitimacy of the allegations on The View, but Ma wasn't having any of it. He called her out for playing defense instead of chasing the truth, systematically tearing apart her excuses and laying bare the blatant hypocrisy for everyone to witness.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this: it's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Maher hit the nail on the head. The ladies of The View, especially Whoopi Goldberg, aren't just woke. They're like a pack of relentless sharks, circling and ready to dismantle anyone who doesn't fit their ideological mold. Their approach to debate isn't about meaningful discussion or uncovering the truth. It's about silencing opposition and imposing their worldview with fly smirks. And cutting snark, Whoopi, in particular, has mastered the skill of brushing off dissenting voices with a casual wave as if alternative opinions are beneath her notice. But Ma wasn't intimidated. He boldly confronted them, revealing their true tactics, bullying masquerading as activism. It's no surprise he's become a thorn in their side, continuously highlighting their hypocrisy For an audience weary of biased narratives, Maher's takedowns are like a breath of fresh air cutting through a room filled with stale and repetitive arguments.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. But a poll last year asked if America is the greatest country in the world. More blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey.
Maher contends that the woke mob needs to stop clutching their pearls over Trump's victory and start facing reality. He didn't steal the election cheat for it or conjure out of thin air. He won it fair and square because millions of Americans resonated with his message regardless of how much it infuriated the progressive left instead of pointing fingers at Russia racism or whatever new scapegoat is trending on Twitter this week. Maybe it's time to acknowledge that democracy sometimes means the other side triumphs. It's not a malfunction. It's the system operating as it should the sooner they stop playing the victim and start strategizing, the better their chances will be in 2028 or even 2032.
I said there's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense.
Bill Maher hits the mark. Once again, not everyone who backed Trump is setting up mega rallies in their backyards or pledging allegiance to golden statues. Many simply held their noses and cast their votes because they were tired of the Democrats' preachy sermons and the woke mob's growing disdain for common sense voters didn't support Trump for. His tweets or his notorious panning bed. Look, they did it. Because the alternative felt like sitting through a lecture from a self-righteous vegan at a barbecue. If the left wants to come out on top, maybe it's time to stop alienating the middle by adopting every fringe idea from the activist playbook and start focusing on what truly resonates with the average American.
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Absolutely, it's pure comedy gold. Bill Maher didn't just drive the final nail into Whoopi Goldberg's coffin. He essentially constructed the entire thing while chuckling at the sheer absurdity. Whoopi the self, declared high priestess of the woke movement, dared to challenge Ma for the audacity to think independently. Big miscalculation on her part. Maher's comeback was quintessential Bill, incisive, unfiltered, and hilariously sharp. He highlighted the irony of a co-host from The View show that prides itself on being a platform for diverse opinions, criticizing him for having a perspective she disagrees with. It's somewhat ironic. Don't you think a group that champions tolerance at every opportunity seems to interpret as only accepting their own viewpoints? As always, Ma wasn't having any of it. He exposed hypocrisy within the woke echo chamber that Whoopi and her team thrive, and where genuine critical thinking is overshadowed by tribal allegiance and dissent is treated as heresy. Watching Ma dismantle their weak arguments was like witnessing Picasso create a masterpiece, but with sarcasm and logic as his tools.